Hey, that's right, guys. That's the announcement. I don't know if that video played the audio it was supposed to. You tell me if it did. But we are here to tell you that Shadowrun Sixth Edition is being announced. We're announcing it.
Yeah, we did. Like we just did.
Yeah.
First ever.
That's first.
Scoop, babies. Babies and non-babies. You heard it first here.
Yeah.
102 people just got something that the whole rest of the world didn't get because we were like, "Hey, we should ask if we could do this."
Yeah. This is a big deal.
Awesome.
It's about on time. It's every 5 or 6 years, I guess. So we're really excited about that. And yeah, you know what? We're excited to be the ones that are making the announcement. So
yeah. This is like momentous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know that there's going to be like miscellaneous reactions to this, right? So don't shoot the messengers here. We're just the ones bringing you the information.
Yeah.
And we can let's do some chat about that. So what do you guys want to know? We'll tell you what we can.
We'll tell you what we can while we're waiting for the chat to catch up and find out what people have to say and what people are saying. Everybody,
a moment to breathe, I think.
Yeah, everybody is saying all sorts of things.
Do your happy place breathing.
But we have
the first 100 people to find out.
Yeah, that's right. You're a select few. We this is not the first thing we're going to be. This is actually just kicking off 3 whole days. 3 whole days of or 2. Yeah. Anyway, we've got 2 more streams coming up tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, all about 6th edition Shadowrun. So we're going to be doing a lot of talking about things there.
I would even cut in and say, even sooner, right now, as we speak, Vox is clicking the buttons to post a new Arcology Podcast episode that is an interview with Jason Hardy and Bobby and I talking about the new edition in detail. That will be up for download on the Arcology Podcast feed, like in a few minutes.
Right, exactly. So you can go over there when you're done hanging out with us. Go over and listen to that, maybe on your way to work in the morning or before you go to bed because you need it. Or on my YouTube channel, Complex Action, I also have a video that is just published 3 minutes ago, of course, and where it's sort of like a preview/review episode of the 6th edition, what we know, the quick start rules we've gotten a chance to take a look at, and we're going to talk a little high-level overview, fun stuff about that, and go into more detail about that tomorrow and the next day. But you can watch that video that I've just posted also. So we've got some info out already. Bam!
Speaking of quick start edition, after we're done here, I'm going to hop on over, and I've got 2 episodes to release. 1 episode of Neo-Anarchist Podcast is coming back in a few minutes. And then also we have the Shadowrun Origins podcast, in which this is kind of meta, so bear with me. But the Shadowrun Origins cast is going to be playing the SR6 box set. So we're going to be playing in character as characters from the Quick Start rules, playing the quick start rules as if one of the players just got them just went down to the game store. So that'll be super fun. If you want to have your first sound of what it looks like and sounds like to actually be playing 6th edition, then you're going to want to listen to Shadowrun Origins.
Cole Saresk just said what I can relate to this. He said, but I just finished getting 5th edition, and I'm assuming you meant like understanding it. Yeah, I feel you.
No, he's maybe getting the books, but yeah.
Or maybe getting it, yeah.
There's still time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about release dates, because I think we're able to talk about that.
Yeah, so
not specifically, but we can say...
It's going to be coming out in 2 phases, just like 5th edition did. So this is nothing new. Catalyst is going to be releasing the quick, the box set, which is going to include the quick start rules for 6th edition. That is going to be released June-ish, sometime around Origins Game Fair. If you're at Origins, almost certainly you'll get a chance to take a look at it. And it might be for sale at that time, but at least around that time is what we were told that that we could officially say. The whole core rulebook, we've been told, is going to be available, the full-blown 6th edition rules around Gen Con in early to mid-August. So that's the time frames we're looking at. So soon, but there's time.
And to end out fifth, it looks like it's going to be Streetpedia. And No Future, which the print version is going to be in 6th edition with the PDF in 5th.
So Dirk Hadron...
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. That's in the interview with Jason Hardy. Maybe I
How
should
cool. So they're
other
basically
cool neat details. He totally gave us some other cool stuff.
So No Future and Streetpedia are perfect ones to kind of bridge the gap between 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So.
That's really neat.
So Dirk Hadron said, man, I checked out after 3rd edition. I'll tell you what, from what I've gotten to take a look at, I'm excited. That's not just me doing the hype thing either. I was leading up to this, I was very skeptical, but I'm very excited because it seems like the big theme going into 6th edition is streamline and smoothing out all the bumps and crevices and simplifying and streamlining. So,
but without being anywhere close to Anarchy levels.
No, absolutely not. And that's another funny thing. Again, I don't want to steal too much thunder from the stuff that we've done, but Jason Hardy told us that they plan to keep Anarchy and Shadowrun 2 distinct games, and continue developing Anarchy alongside 6th edition. So. Yeah, so you're not getting that level of
Jack says Shadowrun Mission Season 10 going to be SR5 or SR6 or both. We don't have access to.
Yeah, we don't have any information about what's going on with.
I know it's being talked about.
Missions.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, Tagashi Jack and everybody else. On Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be having Jason Hardy on the stream here with us, and I'm going to be hosting with Mr. Johnson here a live Q&A. We're going to be asking him some questions, and you guys primarily will get to come and we set it up with him then to give everybody kind of like a day and a half, 2 days to digest all the stuff that we do get out there, like the interview and the Arcology podcast, what we're going to be talking about tonight, what we'll be talking about tomorrow night, also the YouTube video, with the information that we can get out there, and then come with your questions for Jason, the Shadowrun line developer, who will have answers. So for a question like that, that's maybe he can answer that. So so you should.
Oz the Terrible and Great says Streetpedia in May. My understanding is Streetpedia is going to go live this week, if not like maybe tomorrow, with PDF. But don't quote me on that. But I've heard this week, maybe tomorrow for Streetpedia, which I'm super excited about. That that's going to blow minds.
Yeah.
So have we announced the live play that we're doing on Thursday? Have we talked about that yet?
I think we kind of vaguely said it amongst everything else.
Yeah,
let's make this a
Austin-
big deal.
Austin, Motherfraggin' Rusk, and Sarah. I don't want
Sarah
to
Krause.
take another. Sarah Krause. We'll just say her name like that. Sarah is the person who started Rem Alternus Productions. Looking forward to what she's doing. I don't know. I put Motherfraggin' in between Austin and Rusk.
Fair enough.
I just paused. I wanted to do something different. If I just did Motherfragging again, it would be repetitive, and I just blanked on something decent. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'll have to think of a better swear word to use in place of your middle name when the time comes next. So,
But
we
the
have
point
Sarah
is,
Krause of Rem Alternus and Austin Rusk of Crit Squad joining us to play Shadowrun 6th Edition for you live on Twitch on this very channel on Thursday after the Q&A.
That's going to be our first episode. We're going to have an 8-part series that starts that night, every other Thursday after that. Like Mr. Johnson just said, this is a big deal, and we're really excited about it. Let me tell you that we had to burn lots of edge and call in a lot of favors to our contacts to be allowed to do this. Like the rules aren't you're not going to be able to see it until August, but we said we want to show everybody how this game is going to work. So can you please?
You know what we did? We sat down like I don't know, however long. Like the first hint that we thought that we might be seeing 6th, we didn't know it was going to happen. But,
right.
I mean, I and Cliff knew it was going to happen maybe a little bit before everybody else. But even before 6th edition happened, we sat down and made a list. Like what what could we do if we knew that it was coming out and we worked on it? Like, what would we want from Catalyst? And just say, like, can we do this? We made that big list, and I went to Jason, maybe, I don't know, 3 months later, 4 months later, whatever it was. And I said, okay, bud, this is like a huge list of, like, wouldn't this be cool if here's where we shoot for the moon, and here's where we say, please let us have this, even though we know that you'll never let us have this. And, like, he's just like, that's a great idea. Go ahead and do it. And we were like, what? Like, all of it? He's like, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. I'm like,
Yep.
Right on. So, like, if you're wondering, like, why we got, like, access to all of this and why we're doing all this cool stuff all at once, it's because we shot for the moon and we were like, we were just all surprised when he said yes. So that's why all this cool stuff is happening, because we've been planning this, in some way, shape, or form for like 6 months, even before we knew that there was a 6th edition. And it just got crazy lucky. Scrimavera asks, is Anarchy still going to be based on SR5? In as much as it already is, it's not changing. It's going to be its own thing, and it will continue to be its own thing. So, that's
speculation from an Anarchy fan is I wouldn't be surprised if, like, several years down the line they decide to do like a revamp of Anarchy. But I mean, honestly, like, who cares, right? Shadowrun is it's sort of the same thing. It's really the mechanics that change, right? And so, like, I will tell you
this. I can't say anything else about it, but I did make a pitch for another Anarchy book. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. But it would be super dope if it did. But even still, like, there's plans to continue to support Anarchy in some way. We might get an Anarchy, like, 2.0 down the future, like a 2nd edition or like a, updated edition or something like that. But, like, as far as I know, and I'm as involved in Anarchy as anybody else at Catalyst. As far as I know, we have no plans to, like, get rid of Anarchy or to tank it. It's still being supported in the same way.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about maybe the Shadowrun 6th edition rules that we can talk about some.
Yeah,
let's everybody say one thing.
I think let's give a really high level overview. Again, it's not, there are some things that we of course can talk about, but there are we want to make sure we give it enough time in the proper areas. Like tomorrow night we're going to spend a lot of time talking about stuff when everybody's had time to listen to the podcast with Jason and the YouTube and stuff like that. But I guess since I'm already talking, I'm going to go ahead and say the really big change that's happening. It's probably arguably, I don't even think it's arguable, the biggest mechanics rule change that's happening in 6th edition is that there's an entire edge system now. It's not just edge as an attribute. There's a whole edge system that is integral to how you're going to do combat or social maneuvering or any kind of like oppositional tests and stuff.
It's a lot more fluid. It goes up and down from one combat turn to another. It's meant to be spent a lot more.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's totally different as well. Like, forget what you mean by that.
It still allows you to, like, it does what it's supposed to do in 5th. It allows you to do cool stuff. And so, like, that hasn't changed, right? So, like, in 5th edition, you use edge to be able to do cooler stuff. In 6th edition, that's just way expanded, and you get to do like other cooler stuff.
Sort of a little bit like the old Karma Pool, Tabris, Azrael. Yes, sort of. But it's like a currency system that is going to be fluidly going. You're going to be gaining and spending it fluidly, and it's going to be refreshed more often. It'll be a much more active thing that you get to use, and to give you the, I guess, the spirit of what it's trying to accomplish. It's supposed to be a system that no longer just represents your character's like luck. That's a component of it, but it's more supposed to be an abstracted way to represent your cumulative advantages that you have gained over your opponents in like combat or a social deception situation and stuff.
Yeah, looking at like some of the questions, it's not really like any of those other older systems that you mentioned. And yeah, I guess I'm hesitant to say a lot of what it was like because Jason Hardy just put it so well in the interview. It's I guess not really fate points. There's a lot more different things you can do with it, and it kind of is meant to replace the what's the like the situational modifiers that come up in
Yes,
combat.
that's it. So
sort of
that's
abstracts that system a little bit, and it simplifies it, I think, a fair bit.
it
It's going to take
does
some
do it a
getting used
lot.
to, but it's a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Is one of the main things that it does is replace situational modifiers in combat. So that's a big change that's happening. I see some people like talking about things. Dirk Hadron says so more edge equals more murder hobos, and it looks like that's a joke. But trust me, try not to make any assumptions about it. It's totally different than what you're used to. So don't think like, oh, you're getting more edge, and now that means I can just burn edge constantly.
Yeah,
That's not how it works.
Starting
anymore.
with more edge in order to like win or have more. It's not gonna be like that. It's just really not how it's designed to work.
Yeah, it's a totally
See you later, Bull. He's heading out.
Bye, Bull.
Bye, Bull.
So let's see. Miss Fortune says, how is edge compared to the usage in Anarchy? So it's not like Anarchy, right? Like edge is not like an Anarchy, but like if you took Anarchy's plot points and edge and then kind of built a little like extra onto that, like there's some similarities. Some of the things you can do with plot points, you could do with
The more mechanical ones, right? Like you can't really.
Yeah.
There's no
Not
narrative effects,
Right.
except at very expensive levels.
It's very crunchy. It's mechanical. Like there are clear cut mechanical uses for it.
This isn't SR5 plus Anarchy. Like that's not what 6th edition is at all.
Mm-mm.
At all. It is still a crunchy system. Having said that, it is a much more slimmed down, easy version than SR5.
I think
Also,
streamlined
Lancer
is
Gamers
a good
Tavern.
one.
Yes, limits are fragging gone.
That's the
Limits are
big
gone.
change. You see,
You know what else is gone? I'll use mine to say that marks are gone. That decking is
Yes.
way easier.
so
way,
Mark,
way, way
I'll
better.
use
decking.
mine to say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna echo something. Oz, go ahead.
No, please, because otherwise, then I'm going to go down a different tangent.
I was going to
Talk
say
about
limits.
decking.
Limits are gone. Yes. Marks are gone, making hacking easier. Spell forces are gone.
Yes, that's a huge one.
Yeah. No more spell
Oz, I
forces.
couldn't-
But you can still like make spells more powerful. It's just
Right.
that like you can say I cast Fireball and you cast Fireball. Then you could also say I cast Fireball and I'm going to ramp it up this way, which is a cool system. There's really a lot of things I like about it.
Mhm.
I think talking about all the things, if there are things that we don't like about it, was not particularly helpful at this moment. Because we'll get into a lot more over the next couple months. We're going to be covering this for
Yeah,
a while, everyone.
We mentioned that tomorrow night we're doing a chat Q&A about it, and we can talk about more detail.
Yeah, it's going to be a much
Sure.
longer stream tomorrow night, starting at 9 p.m. And we'll be, I think we'll be much more open books at that point, based on what we know. And we should caveat that, like, we don't know everything. There's a lot that, like we've looked at the quick start rules in detail, and we've analyzed and digested that to the end of the earth. So insofar as the quick start rules resemble the core rule book. But Oz, you keep waiting for your turn. Go ahead.
Well, no, I do want to just piggyback off of that. So, like, let's break down that schedule, right? Because we have a lot of really cool stuff happening.
Yes.
Tomorrow at 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, the three of you will be talking everything, like Q&A with the chat, like answer as many questions as you can as to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
Then on Thursday night, so right the day after, 8 p.m. Am I correct in that?
Yes,
is
8
your
p.m.
Jason Hardy interview. 8 p.m. Eastern is your Jason Hardy interview, and that's going to go on until about 9:15ish, right? And then 9:30, and then 9:30 p.m. will be the actual play of 6th edition, the very first released
Right.
sneak peek
Well,
of it.
right. We're going to start playing the new rules.
You know what, Big Cave Monster? You asked about aspected mages. I can say that I like the way that they did aspected mages in this edition
I agree.
far better than previously. That's what
I
I'll say
agree.
about it.
My thing.
I want to ask the answer. The when is Catalyst putting up sixth edition up on their site? They're putting up some announcement around I think 10 Pacific tomorrow, and as far as like when the actual PDFs will be up for sale, I can't say for sure, but we're looking at again quick start rules around June, say around Origin, and I believe they're aiming at releasing the core book around the time of Gen Con.
Right.
Sweet.
Yep.
My thing that is gone, that has been scrapped, is that initiative system that I can't stand, where you lower by 10. That is gone. That is gone.
Initiative system is much more streamlined.
One pass per combat turn.
Like everything is much more streamlined. I can't think of anything that's more complicated than it was in fifth.
Edge.
It's not to say that it's dumbed down at all. Like it's not a rules light system by any stretch. But some of the things have been abstracted, and some of the things have been made more streamlined. And some of the things are just totally different.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, that was all.
Yeah. So Daryl says that 10 a.m. Pacific was the official press release. I guess tomorrow they're gonna make an announcement.
Yep.
So we got the scoop 10 hours in advance. Yay.
Which we were very grateful for. Initiative ? Says Miss Fortune. Yeah, initiative. Yes.
Initiative is just more streamlined. There's none of that subtract 10 next combat round, subtract 10. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, you'll be rolling one time. So
Vox just confirmed with me that the Arcology Podcast episode is up with a live with interview with Jason Hardy. There's a lot of those details directly answered, like right in there. So,
and I go into even a little bit. Yep, Jason definitely answers a lot of those questions. We spent a lot of time in that interview talking about the edge system in particular, actually.
Character creation is a lot easier than it was, to be honest. I mean, like you could sit down. I sat down and made a character. Less than an hour. I mean, not that an hour is like what you're shooting for, but yeah, it was pretty quick. I get pretty fiddly with my characters, but it was pretty easy. Like the core of characters goes by real quick. I was even making a Decker, and it was still.
Yeah, easy. I've got notes on a character I'm making right now for the actual play.
I'm playing Jin, the most fabulous Decker in the sixth world, for our actual play that starts tomorrow night.
I'm playing a weapon specialist. It's an archetype I've never played. His name is Rooster.
What do you keep saying about him, Bobby? You keep saying like he takes his role within the group way too seriously.
Yeah. He.
Like I kept thinking like, is this Bobby like working out his actual issues with the group?
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
I'm joking.
I take my role and everything way too serious, because how could I do it any differently? No, it's he's a former Ares like Firewatch person, and he definitely takes his position in a Shadowrunning team way too seriously. So.
Hey Opti, when are you dropping that Origins SRM or Shadowrun Origins actual play with the quick start?
The quick start rules for Shadowrun Origins will be dropping.
No. When are you dropping the actual play that we recorded?
That's what I'm talking about. Like as soon as we get done with this call, I'm gonna put it up.
Oh, sweet.
I'm not gonna try to do it right now, because right now people should be downloading the Arcology podcast that just downloaded.
Well, whichever. Do you want to hear it played first, or hear talk about the development and the rules first in detail? Just either. I mean, I don't care what order they listen to it in.
Right. Where our actual play though is tomorrow, right after
it's Thursday.
Jason.
Thursday.
Yeah. Oh,
I guess
it's Thursday.
technically tomorry. It's Wednesday now, where I live.
Gotcha.
Time travel.
Yeah. There you go, Damien. I was wrong. It's not tomorrow. It's actually on Thursday night.
Yep. It's gonna be super fun.
I do also want to say, if you're a fan of the Arcology Actual Play podcast, we are starting a brand new campaign for 6th edition, the first episode of which will be releasing on May 14th in about 2 weeks. However, we're not abandoning the original campaign. We are going to be continuing that one in its new setting. We have a lot of 5th edition content recorded for that will also be releasing over time, and we'll eventually switch that one over to 6th edition, but we have months of content recorded for it already, so...
Are you gonna have to like house rule some of those character things that they have?
I'm hoping some books will come out between now and then that I will have to house rule fewer things, but I'm not afraid to make.
Cool.
Somebody was asking, bought the core for Shadowrun, and you have 3 more books coming along. So again, you've got plenty of time to play Shadowrun 5th edition. Might not have been the best timing ever, but it'll be at least until August that your 5th edition books will serve you well. And many people like to play the previous edition for a little while until the at least until the Run Fasters or the Player's Handbook type books come out. So you've got time.
There's no reason you can't use those books.
Yeah, absolutely. And the lore is all good in all those books, and you can adapt and house rule and all that kind of stuff.
I think
the lore is always evolving. Yeah,
I think there's enough sort of I don't know, if you get a good understanding of the rules, if there's stuff from older editions that you want to use that hasn't been put out yet, you could probably make up your own stuff from those books that you already have. So it's going to be a while before all the different books come out for 6th edition past the core book. So we're all going to have to, figure out how we're going to deal with this or that thing that comes up that isn't covered in the new rules yet.
Yeah. DJ Trainwreck.
Or if you're like me, you just want to have all the books anyway from every edition.
Yeah. DJ Trainwreck asked, how is Magic balanced in 6th edition? And a lot of people have said in the chat room, have they fixed Magic Run?
I think so.
Yeah. I know one thing. I haven't
like
gotten to dive deep into the Magic yet, but I do know that the feeling is that you're gonna be taking a lot more drain as a mage. Isn't that right, Mr. Johnson?
Sorry.
You're gonna be dealing with a lot more drain as a mage, aren't you?
Yes. Drain codes seem to be higher. It seems to be a lot more likely you're going to take drain on a more regular basis. And it also seems that there's things in the character creation and the overall balance that favors mundane people being able to do cool direct.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot more balanced, and it's not just balanced by hitting the mages with more drain, because they're still really powerful. But yeah, they're going to have to deal with harsher drain.
I think removing the force and like that unlimited, like that there's no roof kind of is probably the really helpful for sure.
Yeah, Miss Fortune, we talk about some of the Matrix rules, not in super detail in the interview with Jason Hardy, but somewhat. But there's actually some gameplay with the Matrix stuff in the play. Not too much though.
And stay tuned to my Complex Action YouTube channel. I'm going to be over the course of the summer putting out plenty of like just me standing there talking about stuff, review style, whatnot, and talking about my impressions of the rules as I get a chance to go through them. I get a chance to play them in the actual play we're going to be doing and stuff like that. So, the video that's out there right now is just the preview of everything for the announcement. But the very next video that I'm going to be working on is taking a deep dive into not just the details of the Edge system, but how I feel about it and where I think it's going and what I think it's accomplishing, or not accomplishing, but that's I'm going to be reviewing that Edge system.
Yeah, actually, Edge benefits all aspects of the game and not just like magic, right? It's not just a mitigating factor. It's Edge lets you do really cool and specific stuff depending on what archetype that you are.
Yeah. It does. It's think about it this way: you gain Edge as a currency, and there's sort of a menu of things that you can spend it on. And there's a lot of there's a lot of resolution in that menu too. Like you can spend as much as 1 to 5 edge at once, and it could be tiny little things or really, really big things. So, yeah, it's an interesting system.
I haven't gotten into riggers too much. I actually don't care for playing riggers. I know some of you out there are like, riggers are life. Like
Damien's in
They
the
seem
chat room.
pretty cool.
What?
I haven't even looked into those rules. It never comes up for me.
Mr. Johnson, the one thing that you, I'm sure, are super excited about is that the crash rules have been revamped.
Oh, hey, Bobby, I heard that the addiction rules were not nearly as complex.
To believe it or not,
is your-
believe
is
it
your-
or
I really
not,
like the
I have
addiction
not,
rules.
I have
Gonna
not
be
looked at
relevant
it.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Are there even going to be a need for GM screens anymore? Well, I guess time will tell. But
I think there will be. Yeah, I
believe
think
it or
there's
not,
enough
I have not
flexibility.
jumped into the addiction rules yet. I've kind of been saving myself.
I will say, you know what? One thing I noticed, and I didn't actually write anything for the core rulebook. I was only tangentially involved. But one of the things I did notice right up front was that they found a way to balance trolls and other meta types in a way that makes a lot of sense. So you're not automatically getting like a broken character, you know, or having to spend too much karma. You know, the character creation system, particularly how you buy up attributes, was actually really, really cool. I appreciate the way that they did that.
Gamers Tavern Show, Daryl asks, overall impression of how crunchy the system is. I'll go first. I think it's less crunchy. It's still crunchy, though. Like, I think people who love Shadowrun for its crunch, there's still crunch to be crunched.
Yeah, for me, I think I can do a parallel that I think Daryl will get, and anybody else who's into D&D might understand.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically the complexity shift of 3.5 to 5th edition, and I'm going to pretend 4th didn't exist.
As
I
do most
refer to
people.
D&D, that is.
Dark Arctic Day, it definitely plays closer to 5e than
Closer to
Anarchy,
5e,
for sure.
yeah. I mean, it's not Anarchy at all. Like
Yeah.
Anarchy is its own thing, and it
you
is
can
not even
see-
trying to be Anarchy.
You can
It maybe
certainly
takes
see-
one or two cool things from Anarchy,
Right.
but that's about it.
There's
But not the
definitely
plot
some
points part
influence
that
there.
everyone hates.
Yeah, no, one of the things that it does take from Anarchy is kind of the way it looks at ranges. There's no more separate ranges for
Oh my gosh!
for different
Thank
weapons.
goodness. Yeah, I saw that.
so it's like maybe your pistol can only fire in the first 3 range categories, but a sniper rifle can fire through all 5 of them, and then a melee weapon, you know, it only can hit in the first range. So
Yeah, you don't have to consult a series of lookup tables to figure out what what range your gun is. Like it's
I think that.
much more simplified. And it makes much more sense. So
overall I really like it. I was, as with like any gamer, I was really nervous about whether or not I was going to like the new edition, but I've had some time to look it over, both the quick start rules and the core book. And I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to run it. I'm excited to play it, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
yeah, I think 7 on a range of 1 to 10 on the crunch meter. I think 7-ish is good. Opti says 7.5. I think that's about right. Like it's still crunchy. And
It is among the crunchiest still.
yeah,
Some of the crunchiest bits have been scaled back, right? There's a lot of abstractions where the heavy crunch used to be.
right.
And if you just take like how crunchy the Matrix is, like that gets scaled back a lot.
Right.
So that's actually one of my favorite things. It's not going to feel like a beating.
What's happened in 6th edition and the theme, like what it feels like is being done, is that they're identifying needless crunch.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's good crunch, and then there's like crunch that's just there for needless, like just for the sake of being crunchy, and they've taken that out.
Did anybody really? And maybe I'm gonna punish myself by asking this question. But did anybody really go like, you know what I love about Shadowrun? The recoil, rules.
That was my first GM screen video.
I just really loved how they make that so complicated because
Literally.
nobody was like, that's what I love about Shadowrun.
I wanted more complicated recoil. I wanted to carry
recoil and recoil reduction, like that. Just that kind of stuff. When I was a GM, I just ignored it. Like I just hated it, and I never wanted to use it. And I'm like, this is so stupid. Sorry, those of you who are watching and had something to do with that. I just recoil compensation and recoil. It was just obnoxious. So they've scaled that back, and they've abstracted not only that, but all sorts of other little things into like an abstract number. Every gun or every weapon has an abstract number that kind of brings all that stuff into it. It's not like it doesn't have recoil or recoil compensation. It's that all of that stuff is brought together into kind of an easier to compare number, which I thought was really cool. Right, exactly. Like Tesla, I agree with you. It stops players from doing something silly, but I think in this edition, it's way harder to do that kind of silly stuff that they would have done otherwise.
Yep.
Or I guess rather the answer to silly stuff is just no. Rather than, but see, let me go ahead and look through this book and look at the recoil rules to find justification for me to tell you no. Just say no.
Right.
It's okay for you to do that as a game master.
Thanks for the subscription.
Listen, I know for a fact that Catalyst knows that Shadowrun players love their gun porn, or at least a lot of them do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going away. There's going to be plenty of gun porn. There's going to be plenty of, more books with more guns and more, so that's not going away. Don't worry about
Supplest asks, does bomb making still require the square root function?
I'm resisting the urge to open up the PDF and look at it right now.
I don't really know. I don't remember looking at it. You know what? I don't remember looking at the AoE rules or the grenade rules. I don't remember.
Well, you better get them ready for tomorrow's interview.
Oh, a little bit of a tease here. Maybe we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but a little bit of a tease. It's actually possible now to attack, like in a real way, attack multiple targets with one action. Is
that using Edge?
Yeah, it's just built in.
I don't remember how.
You can now attack multiple targets. Like there's an actual legit, like easy way. It's very simplified. It doesn't require dog-earing 5 pages in the book.
Kayubi Dota, you're asking editing questions, and I don't know that we can say glowing things about that, so we're going to move on.
Yeah. So
there's some issues, but like overall,
let's say really an cool answer to that question. I'll answer that question by answering a different question that was asked by Meme, saying, what is Bobby going to do now that the rules will make a bunch more sense? Well, let's just
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
I think complex action is going to have plenty of
GM screens are not going anywhere. Let's just
GM screen.
GM screens will still serve a purpose. That's how I'll answer your question.
And I'd say, Ford, in answer to your question, any plans to reach out to the overall gamer community as a whole to not only let them know the game is alive and well, but that various mechanics have been improved, etc. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I think maybe Catalyst willing to let some podcasters who say, "Hey, we're fans of this. Can we do some cool stuff?" And we have a wish list. I think that's maybe demonstrating that Catalyst wants to. I think that. Bleh. Sorry, I'm tired.
Get involved in the community.
Yeah.
I think that is some evidence to that degree, though I can't really answer for the company. We're not speaking for Catalyst. We're not a mouthpiece for Catalyst. We just get to do some cool stuff with the new.
I think it's a good opportunity to emphasize that also. These are a bunch of Shadowrun fans, right? So they're gonna look for conspiracy. We
you
are
guys are
not in
right.
their pockets.
There's a total
so.
conspiracy. We did have a conspiracy to talk to Jason Hardy
you
to
guys
get
are- you
access
guys are
to the
right.
stuff to talk about it and announce it. Yes.
You guys
Yeah.
are right to ask those questions. You're right to ask,
Mhm.
in particular, those questions. But I don't know how else to say this. I don't want to be crappy. But it is not our responsibility to do marketing or outreach for Catalyst. Like,
Right.
we are partial a little bit, right? We all love Shadowrun.
Yeah.
But we are also trying to be impartial in that we're not shills for the company, right? Like,
Right.
we're not going to blow smoke, pretend like everything's perfect if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And we're not going to just never say anything negative. That's not who we are as a network. We're not the Shadowrun, blowing smoke network.
Right.
We're
Yeah, straight up transparency on me. I'm a fan of Shadowrun, and I'm a fan of 5th Edition Shadowrun and Anarchy, and I'm a fan of 6th Edition. I'm more likely to say positive things about it in general and less likely to, say a bunch of critical stuff. But I'll criticize the stuff that I find problematic about it.
Just
Not today.
like we've done
That's what we're
all
here
along.
for.
So
Right.
Yeah, but total transparency. Yeah, I'm not a corporate shill, but yeah, I'm a fan, and I'm gonna say nice things about it. So you don't.
That's a good place
don't come
for us
to me
to
if you
be.
want the angry Shadowrun reaction, because that's for some.
Yeah,
And-
you're not
and-
gonna get the anger here, right? We're all fans of the stuff, so you're not gonna get like the vitriolic hate stuff, but neither are we going to lie to you and pretend like we don't see what you see if there's something to see.
Nick Morgan,
What
I'm
matters
trying.
is that we're constructive about it, right? And how do you overcome
like we have hope
the
for things
yeah.
being fixed, and we want things to be fixed, and we want things to change for the positive. We're just not going to be negative nillies about it.
Right, Nick Morgan, I'm trying really hard to be a corp goon, but they just won't give me money to shill for them.
Bobby
So,
was like, "Here, I'll sign my soul right here."
just I will say anything you want me to say. Please give me money, and they didn't. So.
Our Bedlam Tom says, "Are you corp goons?" No, we're not corp goons. You know, it's no. I have so much to say about that. We're gonna drop that.
Yeah,
that
it all.
thing right now, 'cause
Yeah.
my anarchism soapbox is about to spring up. No,
Trust me.
not cool.
Trust me. To tie a knot in this part of the discussion, I have things to say that are not flattering, and I will say them. Just right now, we're just trying to focus on being excited, though. So because we are excited. So just
There are things in there that some people on the internet will lose their direct about.
yeah. But we're excited about the direction it's going, and we're trying to be supportive because we love the game and we want to see it succeed. So.
So here's the deal. Like, if you go through this looking for all the cool stuff, you will find it, and you will find a really fun game. If you go through this thinking like, what's all the crap that I can go complain about, you will find it. And if you get stuck on that, you will be a sad panda who will never enjoy this. But the things that are wrong with it, and there's some stuff that's wrong with it, the things that are wrong with it are really minor. And you could probably fix them with some common sense or talk at your table, or just a house rule. And that's with every RPG ever. So yes, could it be better? Sure. Could it have gone through another editing pass? Every single RPG could have. But if you really are just kind of looking to play a fun game, I think this is going to be a more fun game than Fifth. That's my personal opinion. No, Oz, I'm not targeting anybody. I'm just saying that there are people that are negative first. I thought your reviews of books have been fair, so no, I'm not targeting you. But I am saying that if you look for the bad, you will find it for sure.
DL Franco asks, did we get to do a lot of play testing and other insight? Is that something we're allowed to talk about? Because there's not much to talk about, but I didn't know if we were allowed to talk about anything. We got to do a little bit early on, but I don't even know.
I generally avoided the opportunities to play test because I realized I wanted to be able to know. I wanted to be able to keep the rules straight when I came across it when it was done.
Sure, yeah.
Because if I played it along the way and things kept changing, I would not be able to keep it straight. It would be too confusing. I'd be using stuff that they didn't use anymore, and forgetting about that. And I didn't want to misrepresent the game. I want to do my best to show the game as close as it's meant to be shown, I guess.
Right. Technomancer or Decker? I actually haven't dug deep into it about Technomancers or Deckers to say which one I prefer. I think I always prefer Deckers just in general.
Deckers got some cool new changes. The cyber decks are cheaper, but there's also
that's a big deal.
That's another huge one. Cyber decks are way cheaper.
Yeah,
not as cheaper when you consider the cyberjack they need as well, though, which is also fairly essential.
But I think if I was looking at it right, you can start with a Fairlight Excalibur, can't you?
Yeah,
theoretically, but you're not going to have that money.
Yeah.
I think it'll be the only thing you have.
It also depends on which part of the book you're using the availability from, because in one page it says 6 and the other page it says...
Oh, right.
Oh, there it is. Negative.
But generally speaking, though,
God,
you can start. If you put A in resources as a decker, you can start with almost the top gear in the book.
Yeah. Yep. That's another change that we talked about on the Arcology podcast when we interviewed Jason.
Insane Fox. I don't know if are there any critters in the book? I don't remember.
There are some.
I think I saw a few, but like
there's a lot of
the basics that would come in a core rulebook.
Yeah.
Right? There's going to be supplemental material for sure. I mean, well, I can't say for sure because I don't know for sure, but like I have that expectation from the previous editions, right? That there's always like that one animals or stuff book,
I would really like there to be like an animals or a monsters book. Like I don't know. I don't like the way they do it now.
A monster manual?
I really like the way that D&D does it. I don't know. Can I help that? Like, is that maybe just like because I grew up on D&D? Like, is that why I want the 3 different books?
One of the things it does extremely well.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like. It always just feels like it's an add-on in every Shadowrun book. Like, here's some rando dudes to get you by. Like until like cooler stuff comes out later. I don't know. I didn't really like it. No horrors in this book. There's no horrors in this book. In fact, there's no horrors in Shadowrun ever again. Ha
And I guess along with the critter stuff, I don't really have a hard time just extrapolating and making things up. There's a list of powers and abilities and really easy to understand effects that go with them, and it's generally going to be easier to whip together some stats and just look at there's no like I don't know, fire salamander. I'm trying to think of it. The ones from Hellbenders. There's no Hellbenders in the book, so just make them up.
Pyrocat, my problem with Howling Shadows is that it came along so far into the SR5. Like, it came along in a way that wasn't helpful. Like, that really needs to be right up front. It's not like the creatures in Shadowrun, are changing all the time, right? Like, that really does need to be an initial book that comes out. If I had my way, it would be like the second or third book, so that DMs could have a damn thing to do with the rest of the campaign. But whatever.
No, I will say,
don't really ask me about this stuff.
I appreciated that the core book has a much longer list of different types of security NPCs and like gang, like the typical kinds of opposition you would see. Not necessarily all the animals, but you have a gamut of like lowly all the way up to like sort of like SR5 had it right with like the 0 to 6 rating of stuff, but I don't know, I felt like these just had like a better like there's people from different corporations, for example, in those security listings. Does that make sense? And like I've always wanted that. I've always wanted like a Renraku samurai. It's there.
Yeah. For sure.
T-cut metatypes are, I think we mentioned, they're pretty much wide open on the priority scale. You can play any metatype you want with little. They don't beat you over the head for whichever metatype you're gonna play. You could play a troll, or an orc, or any of them without having it. Oh darn! I'm babbling now.
you're not really, the way that they've constructed it is you're not really punished for picking like a troll. It's more like you're rewarded for.
So the I don't want to do this too much, but the limits on attributes are higher for certain races, and you can spend special build points on those particular attributes for those particular races.
Right.
I think, just on my initial read, and I haven't done a whole lot of this, I'd like to make a whole bunch of characters before I make this final, but it looks to me like character creation is much more balanced. If you want to play a troll that goes all the way up, you can, and you'll pay for it. But you have to pay for it. And you'll be paying the same amount as everybody else does. You'll just be able to get higher than everybody else. But it's balanced in that you have to pay for it all the way up, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a little bit more balance.
Yeah. Lord K asks, what about life modules? It's just like with 5th edition. It's starting with just a priority system. So
yeah,
that's the
I
only.
assume that whatever the player's handbook is going to be will have different character gen systems, but I'm not privy to that.
Is the Discord on fire?
Discord is on fire.
Answering Daisy Doozy, Thursday's actual play is at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Wait, aren't you on that one, Sarah?
Right? Yeah, that is Sarah. She's going to be playing the mage, so.
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm okay with plugging this because I
there
spent
are
time making
qualities.
that overlay.
There are qualities. A lot of them work a lot different. A lot of them seem a lot smarter to me.
They
You
have
didn't
a better function. It's not just here, have a plus. Like it's a little bit more. I don't know. It affects things differently. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're there, but they're different, and I like what they did with them.
Nobody told Sarah when to show up. I guess.
And you want to show up an hour earlier.
Awakened burnouts. I don't know. I didn't look at them. I haven't gotten a good look.
In that,
In
that's
that,
getting
I think is there.
the detail, but yeah, that's built into. It's not a quality anymore. It's a choice you can make on when you're spending your karma points for extra money. You can choose to spend them to be in debt, and you get a lot more money per karma point. But then you have problems after character creation, dealing with the fact that you took out a bunch.
Misfortune. Let's see. What do cyberdecks do? They, again, I don't want to give you too much detail. They give you particular matrix attributes that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
You can run programs.
Hosts are still things. Yeah, they run programs. They have a function. You need a deck if you're going to do certain things.
Yeah.
Techno tribes, that is not going to be in the core rulebook. Skin link is not default. No. But these are pretty nitty-gritty questions that we should probably start staying away from.
Yeah. There's time, especially tomorrow night, for us to talk some about that. But some things we just, there's not a lot of the details that we have to say. Good night, Damien. Yeah. Thanks for showing up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The overall world guidebook for it is probably Streetpedia is what you're looking for. The Neo-Anarchist Streetpedia, which is probably, hopefully, if I'm right in my guess, I don't have any insider info, but if I'm right in my guess, should be out tomorrow in PDF. Grids.
Quantum Splat,
Grids.
thanks for the sub.
Grids are interesting, Oz. I have a story about that, about grids, and I can't share it right now, or I don't want to share it right now. Ask me again, or ask me off air or something. I want to tell that story, but right now it's just the hype train. So let's stay away from that.
How about recapping the release schedule? Quick start rules, June around the time of Origins. Full rules, we're looking at around a Gen Con release.
Yep.
Though these aren't official street dates because who knows what the frag happens with, printing and shipping.
Yeah, and that's what Jason told us in our interview is that those were kind of like that's what they're trying to do, but the sort of caveat is that anything can happen when it comes to printing. So there you go. They're shooting for that.
So the quick and dirty is that for grids is that we did away with them in kill code, and without me knowing about it, there were people creating the matrix basically like while kill code was being like released, so they didn't really read kill code, and so when I saw the first drafts, I yelled about it, and they I think they addressed some of that or most of it even in the new book, but I don't think the editing made it all the way through. So like that's the short and dirty version. I got more to say about that later, but neither here nor there.
Cold Equation going to Gen Con for the first time this year, huh? It's going to be fun.
Yeah. We'll see you there, man.
Yeah, we will.
Some of us will. Who's going to Gen Con?
Me.
I think all of us.
Oh, good.
Yep, we'll be there. We'll see ya. And
Oh yeah, I get to see Misfortune again. Looking
May
forward to
in
it.
the middle of May
You'll be
is
meeting
when
Scrim.
Scrim's going to be there. That's right. Oh, I'm so
Oz is going to be there. Right on.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, okay, so there's two Oz's. That is
Two Oz's,
confusing.
I have to say Oz the Terrible. Although I
Are
don't
we
think
having
that's a
anything?
distinct
Are we
meaning.
doing some SCN thing at?
Yep,
Gen Con?
we're going to have our usual Shadowcasters Network panel that we're going to do for an hour and a half. It'll be on the Friday night of Gen Con like we always do. I don't have the actual time right in front of me, but it'll be on the schedule when when event registration opens up. You can get it as free event, so just sign up to do it. Make sure you sign up. We have to take tickets and stuff.
Samite fan, I'll be at Origins too. I look forward to seeing you. Come hit me up.
Yep.
Yeah, I could unfortunately only go to one. So
Neo Scum will be where? At Gen Con or Origins?
Probably Gen Con. I don't know. I'm not their handler.
No, somebody Eric said that they're going to be there too. I don't know where they're.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
we
last
always
year,
have a
actually.
blast at the Shadowcasters Network panel. We're gonna have a blast again, and this time, I hate to say it for the people who aren't going to be there, but this time we're not recording it. So if you can be there, you better sign up and show up because it's going to be exclusive.
Daryl, I have no idea about release schedules. I do know of one book that's going to be released after the core rule book, but it is not.
Not sure if we can talk about that yet.
Yeah, we can't say anything about it.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah.
In the last couple minutes here, we're going to go in just a few minutes, but to remind you guys what we're doing over to the next couple days. So Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be on again to spend a little bit more time now that the announcements happened. You've had time to listen to the Arcology Podcast interview with Jason Hardy. You've had time to watch the Complex Action YouTube video. We're going to answer some questions of things that we know our feelings
Don't skip
about
the
things.
Shadowrun Origins podcast actual play.
Sorry about
We'll
that.
have to
Absolutely.
listen to that too.
Shadowrun Origins. Check out Opti's Shadowrun Origins actual play, and we'll go into a litlittle bit more detail. A lot of the stuff that we're holding back on is because we want to talk more about it tomorrow. Then on the next night, on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a Q&A with you guys and Jason Hardy. He's going to be on. Me and Cliff are going to talk to him, and you guys can ask your questions. And right after that is over is when we will do the first short session of the 6th edition, showcasing the 6th edition rules by starting our 8-part actual play series. That'll be on Thursday, every other Thursday night on the network. So that'll be starting this Thursday. So,
And let's plug that our resident Shadowrun GM, Cliff is going to be, Mr. Johnson is going to be the GM for this SR6 game.
Yep.
And then we also have Bobby and Opti playing, as well as Austin, the GM of Crit Squad, and Sarah Kraus, the producer over at Rem Alternus.
Yep.
Alternates.
It will be the first of an 8-episode campaign.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're very excited about it.
Cliff is also GMing our Shadowrun Origins actual play. So if you are interested in hearing 6th edition run, Mr. Johnson is your only option.
Man, you're GMing a lot of stuff.
Yes, he's also GMing our upcoming Justicars game for Optiverse. He can't say no. He's got an addiction.
Right. Yep.
His addiction rules are not nearly as complicated though as 5th edition.
Oh yeah,
yes,
Oz asked if we have a schedule image to post. Yes, it was supposed to go live right at midnight, but I literally have the Photoshop document open right in front of me right now. I'm working on it last minute, but it'll go up the schedule.
And yes, Meme, the full campaign is happening all in 6E and all live on Twitch. So tune in. It's going to be on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, on every other Thursday, rather. It's not like every Thursday.
Just make sure you bookmark the schedule page because there is some weirdness with some switching around, and because of holidays, we didn't want to have to. I think we moved around because of 4th of July and Origins, and so it'll be on some Thursday nights. But check our schedules for that as well.
And Mactasia, yes, we talk about the rules in the actual plays as we play them. So
this one in particular,
yeah, we wanted to make sure with this one that we're not just doing the entertainment product that you would typically get for a Twitch RPG. We wanted to actually be, aside from also being entertaining, we wanted to also be educational and a preview of what.
Yes.
What you can expect. So.
Yeah, the point of it is we want to highlight the system before people have to wait to get it in August sometime.
So yeah, bottom line is if you want more information, come back and see us sometime. We got what you want. We are doling it out. It's not going to cost you anything. Because information wants to be free.
Yep. Follow.
Information is free, chummers.
If you haven't already, click the follow button on the Shadowcasters Network Twitch right here so that you'll know when we go live the next couple nights and anytime we go after that. Jump on over to make sure you subscribe to the Neo Anarchist Podcast and the Arcology Podcast because they've got the stuff that you want as well. And on Complex Action, youtube.com/Complex Action, subscribe there because all over the next series of months and then after the core rulebook comes out, I'll be doing GM screen videos. There'll be tons of 6th edition stuff to consume over there on YouTube as well. And all of those don't cost you a penny. So, of course, if you like what we do, you can always subscribe to our Twitch channel.
And Patreons. You could do those too.
Yep.
For other shows. But absolutely.
We are likable kin.
Yep.
And we have a lot going on this Twitch channel. Our Twitch channel is a lot of other games that we love and that we like to showcase. So, we have Game of Thrones. We've got a game that's being run, literally created as it's being played. That's Shattered Isles, Night Witches. We're playing board games and role-playing them. We've got Shadowrun Anarchy. We're going to have the Sprawl soon, Mutants and Masterminds. We have a lot of stuff. So, if you are ever bored one night, you'll probably find something streaming. So,
and Oz likes to tease me that whatever I happen to be playing at the moment, I always just use as leverage to get myself to try to work with that company. So
yeah.
So who knows? Maybe I'll be working for Green Ronin sometime in the future.
Well, thank you, chummers. We are excited about 6th edition, and hopefully you are too. And thanks for coming and hanging out with us. And definitely, we'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for the cheer, Saragon, and we'll be back tomorrow night to talk a lot more about these things that we keep saying we don't want to say too much about. So.
Yeah, but there is content to check out as well. So check out the Complex Action video, the Arcology Podcast interview, and the Shadowrun Origins actual play.
Yeah, within the hour, I'm gonna upload Shadowrun Origins actual play and a new episode of the Neo Anarchist Podcast.
The fun doesn't stop right now.
The place to go find all that, if you don't already have those subscribed to, is just shadowcasters.network. There's probably a link on the Twitch page here somewhere.
Yep, it's right there where it says SCN website. Just click it.
Click it.
Let's end on a high note while we still have in the 90s watching.
We should raid somebody, right?
Yeah,
be a big
whatever that
raid.
means.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we should do a raid or something.
Let's see.
Ooh.
Who
we
else
got?
is talking about SR6? Oh, wait, nobody. I'm so petty. I love it.
But while we were figuring someone out to raid, also check out our Discord. Go to Shadowcasters.network/Discord if you're not part of it. We have a community of 2,500.
Oh, yeah, the
still growing.
conversation will continue over there.
Let's
Here,
drop
it's
in on the
huge.
bubber knot.
I'm already typing.
I agree. I'm thinking.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks, chummers.
Peace out.
And yeah, stick around and raid the bubber knot.
Conserve your ammo.
We're a nice big raid, so let's just...
I kind of want to go over there.
come on.
It's like, holy crap.
81 raiders. Let's do this.
Right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
See you, everybody.